December 14th, 1944, near the Ardennes Forest, Belgium, 5:18 p.m. The retreat has already turned into chaos. Snow mixes with smoke, drifting across the shattered road as American trucks grind backward through the freezing mud. Engines roar. Men shout over artillery blasts. Nothing is organized anymore. The line is collapsing too fast. Private Ethan Cole runs beside a half-damaged transport truck, rifle clutched tightly against his chest. His breath cuts sharply in the freezing air. Ahead of him, soldiers are moving fast. Too fast. Another explosion slams into the trees nearby. The ground shakes violently. Snow and dirt rain down across the convoy. Move! Move! The order tears through the confusion. Cole stumbles forward, trying to stay with the others. But visibility is disappearing. Smoke. Snow. Darkness arriving early. You can almost feel it. That moment where direction itself begins to vanish. A tank passes beside him, tracks grinding loudly through ice-covered earth. Then another explosion erupts behind the convoy. This one closer. A truck flips sideways, flames immediately spilling from the engine compartment. Men scatter in every direction. Some toward cover, some toward the woods, some nowhere at all. Cole drops instinctively behind a fallen tree. Machine gun fire tears across the road. Sharp, controlled, German fire. And suddenly the retreat becomes something worse. A break. Units lose contact instantly. Officers disappear into smoke. Communication lines collapse. The road ahead clogs with wreckage. The road behind fills with incoming fire. And in the middle of it all, people stop knowing where they belong. Cole lifts his head slightly. The convoy is moving again. But not together. Fragments of it. Small groups pulling away through the snow. Keep moving west. Someone shouts. But the voice fades almost immediately. Because another artillery shell detonates nearby. The blast throws Cole sideways. His helmet slams against frozen ground. For a second, everything goes silent. Not around him. Inside him. A dull ringing replaces the battlefield. He blinks hard. Tries to focus. When his vision clears, the convoy is gone. Not destroyed. Gone. The road ahead is empty except for smoke and burning wreckage. Cole pushes himself upward. Hey! No answer. He turns behind him. Nothing. No friendly movement. No headlights. No voices. Only the forest. Dark. Silent. And somewhere inside it, enemy troops are moving. You can almost feel the realization forming slowly. Not panic. Not yet. Something colder. He's alone. Cole grabs his rifle tighter and starts moving toward the road, then stops instantly. Voices. German. Close. He drops back into the snow, barely breathing. Boots crunch across frozen ground nearby. One patrol. Maybe more. A flashlight beam cuts briefly through smoke. Cole presses himself lower. So low the freezing snow burns against his face. The patrol moves past slowly, speaking quietly, confidently. Because this area already belongs to them now. And that changes everything. Cole waits. 10 seconds. 20. Only after the footsteps disappear does he move again. He reaches into his coat pocket. One extra magazine. Half a canteen. No radio. That's it. No map. No contact. No clear direction west. And now the sun is disappearing completely. The forest grows darker by the second. Behind him, distant artillery continues rumbling. But it sounds far away now. Disconnected. As if the war itself is moving on without him. Cole looks toward the road one last time. Nothing. No one is coming back. Not tonight. And somewhere miles away, his unit is still retreating, still moving, still trying to survive, completely unaware that one soldier never made it out with them, because in the confusion of retreat, his disappearance wasn't noticed. Not yet. And by the time someone realizes he's missing, it may already be too late. December 14th, 1944. Ardennes Forest, Belgium, 11:46 p.m. The temperature keeps dropping. Every breath turns white in the darkness. Every movement sends cold through Ethan Cole's body like needles. But stopping isn't an option, because somewhere behind him, German patrols are still moving through the forest. Cole crouches beside a frozen ditch, listening carefully. Nothing. Then, distant voices. Again. Too close. You can almost feel it. That constant pressure of knowing one wrong sound changes everything. He moves slowly through the trees, careful where each boot lands, careful not to snap branches, because now survival depends on silence, not strength. The forest stretches endlessly around him. Dark trunks, frozen ground, snow reflecting faint moonlight. Everything looks the same. No landmarks, no roads, no clear westward direction, only instinct. And instinct is unreliable when exhaustion begins to take over. Cole stops briefly beneath a cluster of pines. His hands are trembling, not from fear, from cold. He checks his rifle again. One full magazine. One partially loaded. That's all. Every bullet now feels heavier, because each one represents a decision. Fight. Or survive long enough not to. Somewhere deeper in the forest, engines rumble faintly. German vehicles. Moving toward the front. Toward the battle he's no longer part of. The realization hits harder now. His unit kept retreating. The line shifted. The war moved west. And he stayed behind. Not intentionally. Not heroically. Accidentally. Forgotten inside the confusion. Cole kneels near a frozen stream, breaking thin ice carefully with gloved fingers. The water burns cold against his skin, but he drinks anyway. Because dehydration kills quietly, and quietly is exactly how this forest feels. A branch cracks somewhere nearby. Cole freezes instantly. His rifle rises before he fully thinks. Voices again. German. Closer this time. A flashlight beam moves between the trees. Slowly. Methodically. Search patrol. Cole lowers himself flat into the snow behind a fallen log. The cold immediately cuts through his uniform. But movement would be worse. The beam passes only feet away. You can almost feel his heartbeat trying to betray him. One soldier stops. Silence. Then the sound of boots shifting direction. Toward him. Cole tightens his grip on the rifle, one step closer. Another. The flashlight begins sweeping across the log. And then, farther away, another German voice calls out. The soldier turns, answers briefly, and the patrol moves on. Cole doesn't move. Not immediately. Because survival now depends on patience. Minutes pass before he finally exhales again. The forest grows quieter afterward, but not safer. Never safer. Cole keeps moving through the night. West. Or what he hopes is west. The snow deepens in some areas, slowing him down. Every step takes effort now. Fatigue settles heavier into his legs, because the body eventually notices what adrenaline hides. Cold, hunger, exhaustion. And he feels all three now. Hours pass. No friendly lines. No signals. No confirmation he's even moving the right direction. Only darkness. At one point, he spots distant fire through the trees. For a second, hope rises. Friendly camp, friendly armor. Then he hears German voices again, and realizes the truth. Enemy position, closer than he thought. Cole backs away slowly into the darkness, because now he understands something terrifying. He isn't near the edge of enemy territory. He's deep inside it, and somewhere miles away. His unit is finally conducting roll call. Names answered one by one. Then a pause. Private Ethan Cole. Silence. Another call. Still nothing. Officers exchange looks. Because now they know someone is missing. But missing in retreat often means one thing. Dead. Captured. Gone. And in war, units usually don't stop moving for one man. But Ethan Cole is still alive. Still walking. Still fighting to stay unseen. And by morning, his situation is about to become even worse. December 15th, 1944. Ardennes Forest. 7:08 a.m. Morning arrives slowly through the trees. Grey light filters across frozen branches, revealing a forest that feels endless. Private Ethan Cole hasn't slept. Not properly. Only short moments of unconsciousness between fear and movement. Because every sound during the night felt dangerous. And now daylight brings a different problem. Visibility. At night, darkness hid him. During the day, it exposes him. Cole crouches beneath thick pine branches, trying to stay concealed as distant engine sounds echo through the forest. German movement has increased. More vehicles. More patrols. The enemy is spreading deeper into the Ardennes. And Cole is trapped directly in their path. You can almost feel it. The terrifying realization that the battlefield isn't somewhere else anymore. It's all around him. He pulls a small piece of stale bread from his pocket. The last of his food. Hard. Frozen. He eats slowly anyway. Because there's no guarantee of another meal. Snow continues falling lightly through the trees. Not enough to hide tracks. Just enough to make the cold worse. Cole studies the ground carefully before moving again. Every footprint matters now. A visible trail could bring patrols directly to him, so he moves cautiously, stepping on rocks when possible, walking through frozen streambeds when he can. Small decisions. But survival is now built entirely on small decisions. Hours pass slowly. The forest remains quiet. Too quiet. Then, voices. Cole instantly drops low beside a cluster of rocks. German soldiers emerge through the trees ahead. 3 of them. Armed. Relaxed. Not expecting resistance here. Because why would they? This territory already belongs to them. One soldier lights a cigarette while another studies a map. Cole watches silently from less than 20 yards away. Close enough to see their breath in the cold air. His finger rests against the rifle trigger, but he doesn't fire. Because shooting solves one problem, and creates 10 more. The patrol eventually moves on. Cole waits another full minute before moving again. Patience. Again, everything depends on patience. By afternoon, exhaustion becomes harder to ignore. His legs feel heavier. His vision occasionally blurs. Cold drains energy faster than hunger. And the Ardennes winter is relentless. Cole eventually spots an abandoned, hunting cabin hidden deeper in the woods. Small. Old. Half covered in snow. For the first time in hours, hope appears. He approaches carefully. Not because he fears the cabin, because he fears who might already be inside it. The door hangs slightly open. Cole raises his rifle and steps closer. Silence. Then, slowly, he pushes the door inward. Empty. Completely empty. Inside, the cabin smells like old wood and frozen air. But it has walls, a roof, cover, and for someone alone behind enemy lines, that feels almost unreal. Cole closes the door quietly behind him, for the first time since the retreat. He's hidden properly. He lowers himself against the wall slowly, exhaustion finally catching him fully. His hands shake badly now. From cold, from stress, from survival itself. He checks his supplies again. Low ammunition. Almost no food. Half a canteen. Not enough for days. And that realization changes everything. Because until now, survival meant staying hidden. But soon, he'll need more than hiding. He'll need food, water, direction. And every attempt to find those things increases the risk of being discovered. Outside, distant artillery rumbles faintly again. The front line is still moving, still changing. But Cole is disconnected from all of it now. No radio. No orders. No idea where friendly forces are. Only survival. As darkness slowly returns to the forest, he finally allows himself to close his eyes briefly. But even then, his rifle remains in his hands. Because somewhere beyond those cabin walls, German patrols continue searching roads, forests, and abandoned buildings. And eventually, someone is going to search this one too. December 16th, 1944, Ardennes Forest, 4:31 p.m. The sound wakes him instantly. Not loud, subtle. Snow crunching outside the cabin. Private Ethan Cole's eyes open immediately. For 1 second, he doesn't move, doesn't breathe. Because survival has already taught him something important. The first sound is never the danger. The second one confirms it. Another crunch. Closer this time. Boots. Multiple. Cole grips his rifle tightly and slowly shifts toward the small frost-covered window. Outside, movement appears between the trees. German soldiers. A patrol. 4 of them. And they're heading directly toward the cabin. You can almost feel the cold panic settle into his chest. Not explosive panic. The quiet kind. The kind that sharpens everything. Cole scans the room quickly. One door. One small rear window. No real escape. Not without being seen. Outside, the patrol slows near the structure. One soldier points toward the cabin. Another nods. They've noticed it. Of course they have. In weather like this, abandoned buildings always matter. Warmth. Shelter. Cover. Which means every patrol checks them eventually. Cole lowers himself beside the wall near the door. Rifle ready. His breathing controlled carefully now. One shot would expose him instantly. But if they enter, he may not have a choice. The footsteps stop outside. A voice speaks in German. Another responds. Then silence. A long silence. The kind that feels endless when you're waiting for a door to open. Cole glances toward the back window. Too small. Too exposed. Not enough time. Outside, someone grabs the door handle. It moves slightly, but the swollen frozen wood resists. The soldier pulls harder. The door creaks. Cole tightens his grip on the rifle. Every muscle in his body locks. One more pull at 2. Then suddenly, another voice shouts from farther away. Urgent. The soldiers outside pause immediately. One answers loudly. Another points deeper into the forest. Movement. Not from Cole. From somewhere else. The patrol hesitates only briefly before stepping away from the cabin. Boots crunch rapidly through the snow again. Moving away. Fast. Cole stays frozen against the wall. Because survival teaches another lesson too. Never trust the first silence. Minutes pass. Then more. Only after the sounds disappear completely does he finally lower the rifle slightly. His hands are shaking harder now. Not weakness. Adrenaline leaving the body. Because he understands how close that was. Too close. The cabin is no longer safe. Not anymore. Someone noticed it. Someone checked it. Which means they could return. Tonight. Tomorrow. Anytime. Cole moves quickly now, carefully gathering what little he has. No fire. No evidence. Nothing left behind. Outside, snow continues falling lightly. The forest is growing darker again. And darkness means movement. Cole steps outside cautiously, scanning the trees. Empty. For now. Then he begins walking again. Deeper into the freezing woods. West. Still west. At least he hopes so. But somewhere beyond the forest, American forces are beginning to hear reports. Rumors. A lone soldier spotted behind enemy movement. At first, no one believes it. Because isolated soldiers rarely survive this long alone. But then another report arrives. Then another. And slowly, someone begins to wonder if Ethan Cole might still be alive. While miles away, completely unaware of it, Cole is walking directly toward the most dangerous part of the forest yet. December 17th, 1944. Western edge of the Ardennes Forest. 2:12 a.m. The forest is quieter tonight. Not safer. Just quieter. Private Ethan Cole moves slowly through the darkness, boots sinking into deep snow with every exhausted step. 3 days. 3 days alone behind enemy lines. 3 days without proper food. Without sleep. Without knowing where friendly forces actually are. And yet, he's still moving. Because stopping now would mean something worse than death. It would mean disappearing completely. Forgotten. Lost inside a battlefield already moving on without him. You can almost feel the exhaustion pulling at him now. Every movement slower. Every thought heavier. The body eventually reaches a point where survival becomes automatic. Not bravery. Not determination. Instinct. Cole pauses beside a frozen ridge overlooking a narrow road below. German vehicles move slowly through the night. Trucks. Infantry. Supply convoys. The enemy advance is growing stronger, which means the front line is still unstable, still shifting. And somewhere beyond that shifting line. Not officially. Not with large operations. But quietly, because enough reports have surfaced now. A lone American soldier seen moving through the woods. Enemy patrols reacting strangely in isolated areas. And one detail continues repeating. The soldier always disappears before capture. At first, officers dismissed the stories. Then came another report. A German supply runner ambushed near a frozen trail. Minimal ammunition used. Quick escape. Professional. Not random. Someone out there is surviving deliberately. And now, they're beginning to suspect who it is. Cole watches the convoy below carefully, then notices something important. West of the road. Faint movement. Not German. Different formation. Different spacing. American scouts. For a second, it doesn't feel real. After days of isolation, the sight almost seems imagined. Cole lowers himself carefully down the ridge. Slowly. Carefully. Because one mistake now could end everything. Halfway down, a branch snaps beneath his boot. Instantly, German voices erupt below. Flashlights swing upward. De oben, Cole drops hard into the snow as gunfire suddenly tears into the ridge. Bullets snap through branches above him. The scouts below react immediately. American rifles open fire from the opposite tree line. Chaos explodes across the road. German soldiers scramble for cover. Headlights swing wildly through the darkness. And in the middle of it all, Cole runs. Not away. Toward the American line. You can almost feel the final surge of adrenaline carrying him forward. Because survival changes a man. Days ago, Ethan Cole was retreating with everyone else. Following orders. Moving with the unit. Now he moves differently. Quieter. Faster. Sharper. because isolation forced him to adapt. German fire continues behind him as he crashes through the snow-covered trees. Then suddenly Brinknright Thalmsators, Uharad Miller's Driptor, Micum Thalmsadeliphix. A voice shouts ahead. Hold it. Identify yourself. Cole freezes instantly. American voices. Real. Close. He raises both hands slowly. Private Ethan Cole, 28th Infantry. Silence for a moment. The scouts stare at him, because he doesn't look like someone who should still be alive. Uniform torn. Face pale from cold. Eyes exhausted beyond sleep. One scout steps closer carefully. Jesus Christ. Not because Cole is wounded, because he survived. Against probability. Against weather. Against enemy territory. Against being forgotten entirely. A canteen is handed to him. Then a blanket. But for several seconds, Cole barely reacts, because his body still hasn't accepted it yet. That it's over. That he made it back. Behind them, artillery flashes continue across the distant horizon. The war hasn't stopped. The battle hasn't ended. But Ethan Cole is no longer alone inside it. And somewhere behind enemy lines, hidden beneath snow and darkness, the forest keeps its silence, as if trying to erase every trace that he was ever there at all. But it failed, because the soldier they accidentally left behind refused to disappear.